What is up, everybody? The first week of the new year is wrapped up now, and we had a big week. We had a WWE Championship match on Monday Night Raw. We had the first night of New Year's Eve match for AEW. We had the New Year's Evil for NXT, and we had a title change on Friday Night SmackDown. So it's just a bulky week, and I'm going to go into my DW Top 5, where I break down what 5 matches I thought were the best. And, without further ado, I'm Kevin Jones, the Disciples of Wrestling, and let's get to it. So, coming in at my number 5 to start us off, we have from New Year's Evil on NXT this past Wednesday, the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match of the challenger Grand Metalik versus the champion Santos Escobar. This was a really nice match. I really enjoyed it, and it was a phenomenal way to really get us into the card. This was the second match on New Year's Evil, and it was a good match, especially following Karrion Kross versus Damian Priest, where we saw a nice display of Lucha Libre style wrestling, where we saw on one end of the spectrum the high flying ability with Grand Metalik versus the other side of the spectrum, the very technical and very submission based style with Santos Escobar. I thought this was a really great match, and this continues to add to Santos Escobar's title reign, where he gets another win. And this was a great physical match between these two, where it was nice and even, and there wasn't many outside interferences from either side. And I thought this was a really nice way to really start off our DW Top 5 for the week. Coming in at number 4, we have the main event for New Year's Evil. We have the NXT Championship match between Kyle O'Reilly, the challenger, versus Finn Balor, the champion. This is actually calling back to their match of the year for NXT at the main event for NXT TakeOver 31, where it was a phenomenal match. And this was also a phenomenal match. It was a nice bell-to-bell mat classic between these two. Not as great as the first one, but definitely a great match altogether, where we saw these two really focus to their submission styles, of course, hinting back to the first one, where they were more technical based, and this was exactly that as well, where we got this time around Finn Balor catching a bit of redemption, where he focused after Kyle O'Reilly's jaw, and Kyle O'Reilly actually focused on Finn Balor's left arm, where that was the focal point for both wrestlers in this match, where we actually saw hints of the first match come into the play, where we saw Finn Balor go after the kidney shot that he went after in the first match on Kyle O'Reilly this match. But Finn Balor adds to his legacy again, and this is his first match back. So let's see if he gets another reign, another title defense in before he faces Karrion Kross. But that was my number 4. And my number 3, we have from New Year's Evil once again, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez in a last woman standings match. This was a nice, fun match. It was a great match and a nice star-making performance for Raquel Gonzalez, where she got a really nice rub and really looked dominant throughout this entire match. Rhea Ripley did a great job too in her performance. Some great spots were when Raquel Gonzalez got handcuffed to the barrier way and she rips off the caging to go after Rhea Ripley. Another one was when Raquel Gonzalez, this was actually a heart stopper because of how Rhea Ripley landed, but the back body drop on the announcer table. Another one was when Rhea Ripley hit a great senton backstage on a Raquel Gonzalez through a table. And then a phenomenal one was when Raquel Gonzalez hits her finisher on the stage that inevitably goes through the stage, and Raquel Gonzalez comes through the rubble to get the win. This was a great match. Definitely sets up Raquel Gonzalez nicely in the NXT Women's Division for the future. And this was just a nice overall rub from Rhea Ripley to Raquel Gonzalez. Next up, at number 2 from Monday Night Raw, the WWE Championship match between challenger Keith Lee and champion Drew McIntyre. This was just phenomenal altogether. A nice old school power versus power match with a modern day twist, where we saw a great deal of athleticism from both men, where we see, of course, the Spanish Fly from that Keith Lee hits on Drew McIntyre, a 300 plus guy, 300-pound plus guy that hits a phenomenal backflip, carrying and hoisting up Drew McIntyre to hit from the top rope onto the mat. It's just phenomenal match by both guys that protects and elevates both guys for the future. Really enjoyed it from both, and this just really shows the elevation and the respect that they've put on the WWE Championship from WrestleMania of last year up to this point, and what they're continuing to do through Drew McIntyre as the WWE Champion. It was just another nice win for Drew, and it was just great to see what we're going to see coming forward for the WWE Championship picture. So before I get into number one, I'm going to hop into my honorable mention, which is from New Year's Smash for AEW. We have Cody Rhodes versus Matt Sydal, which, like I talked about in the recap video, this was a great classic of power versus speed, where we saw both guys use their experience in the ring to really even out the odds for the most part, where these guys it was just phenomenal bell to bell. And what it came down to was a mistake from Matt Sydal, where he went for a move just too much, one too many times, and Cody capitalizes with the crossroads for the win. And now my number one match of the week from New Year's Smash, the AEW Championship match between challenger Rey Fenix versus champion Kenny Omega. This was just a phenomenal bell-to-bell, fast-paced, high offense, high innovation. This was just phenomenal. They stole the show on this night, where Rey Fenix hit moves that I didn't know a human being could hit, and you saw Kenny Omega have the striking power of just one of the best wrestlers in the world, where we saw Kenny Omega just become what he already is, which is the bout machine, and we saw Rey Fenix steal the show like usual. And this was just a phenomenal way to end night one of New Year's Smash, where we saw the reuniting of the former Bullet Club with the Good Brothers making their debut and the Young Bucks joining in, where that was after the match. But overall, it was just a phenomenal match, where we saw Kenny Omega get another successful title defense. And we saw just, once again, like I talked about in the match that I put for number two, you know it's a great match when both guys are elevated coming out of the match. And that's exactly what this did with Rey Fenix. Even throughout his loss, he still looks strong coming out of it. Well, all right, guys, that's it for my DW Top 5. Next week, you guys will be getting Jordan, where he dives into his top 5 matches of the week. But I hope you guys enjoyed the list. I hope you guys enjoyed this week of wrestling. And I hope you guys enjoyed our first week of making content. If you guys enjoy what we do, hit the thumbs up button to like us. If you guys like and really enjoy it, definitely hit the share button to share with your friends. If you guys want to get updates on our uploads, definitely hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. And if you guys want to reach out to us, don't be afraid to comment or email to us, just to let us know how you guys have been enjoying the content so far. But until next time, I'm Kevin Jones, and that was wrestling.